More information released following what turned out to be a deadly garage fire in Scottsbluff yesterday morning. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the Scottsbluff Fire Department has identified the cause of a Thursday morning garage fire at the corner of 6th Avenue and East 16th Street. Scottsbluff Fire Captain Justin Houston says the cause of the fire was due to a heat lamp that came into contact with combustibles inside the chicken coop and extended into the garage. Police were able to get the homeowner out of harm's way, and fire personnel were able to have the fire contained within 5 minutes of arrival. Unfortunately, one hen and 5 chicks died as a result of the fire. Crews were on scene for approximately 90 minutes, mopping up hot spots and ensuring nothing reignited. Well, use of the City of Gering's ball fields by organized teams will come with a price starting in March. During this week's council meeting, the Gering City Council approved a new fee structure for use of the city's ball fields, including Dome Rock Diamonds and the concession stand, whether for tournaments, regular season play, or practices. City Parks and Rec Director Amy Seiler told the council that the Recreation Committee had multiple in-depth discussions on the subject before bringing forward a proposal.
We have never had fees for the use of our fields in the past, but we are looking for ways to cover some of the costs for the maintenance and the work on our fields. I came up with ideas and I worked with my Parks Board and we made recommendations to the Rec Committee, and the Rec Committee discussed those in depth.
Fees would generally be $1,500 a season for Gering Organized Baseball, Gering Girls Softball Association, Gering Legion Baseball, and Gering Public Schools teams, with an extra $500 to include any travel teams under the Gering Organized Baseball and Gering Girls Softball Association umbrella. The Dome Rock Diamonds concession stand lease for the recreational baseball and softball season would be $500 per season, $250 a season for the Gering High School softball team, with a daily use fee of $50. And a year and a half after a warrant for arrest was issued, a 39-year-old Scottsbluff woman is in custody on drug distribution charges. Crystal Ariano was the target of a Wing Drug Task Force investigation in August of 2021, and court documents say she sold fentanyl to a CI on consecutive days. Once the drug results came back from the state crime lab, warrants for charges of distribution of fentanyl and distribution of fentanyl within 1,000 feet of a school were issued. Court records show the arrest warrant was served in Weld County, Colorado, and she's set to make her first appearance on the felony charges today in Scottsbluff County Court. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Welcome back. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people were on hand Thursday morning to pay their final respects to Trooper Kyle McCasey, who was killed in the line of duty last Monday. A funeral procession began in Ralston before his casket was carried inside the arena for the service. Troop A Chaplain John Hunsberger offered his sympathy to the McCasey family, the law enforcement community, and others who were impacted by his life.
To the men and women of the state of Nebraska, I mourn with you over the passing of one of our great sons. These past few days, I've been asking God, through the Holy Spirit, whose name is the Comforter, that He would comfort you guys today and in the days to come.
Trooper McCasey was roommates with Trooper Jerry Smith during Camp 56, and tragically, they have been the last two NSP troopers to die in the line of duty. Superintendent Colonel John Bolduc noted that McCasey was campmates with Smith 10 years ago, and Kyle provided so much support to the Smith family in Gering following Jerry's passing in 2019.
There are so many stories of the Army veteran, seasoned Jerry Smith and the young 21-year-old Kyle working together to make it through camp. I remember the day that we lost Jerry. As I hurried to the airport, Kyle called me. He wanted to tell me about the Smiths and how close he was to them. By the end of the call, Kyle was consoling me instead of the other way around.
Speakers at the funeral said McCasey began his career in law enforcement when he was just 16 years old as part of the Omaha Police Explorers program and always had the drive and ambition to protect and serve. Well, Governor Jim Pillen has declared a state of emergency for fires that have been burning since early this week in 2 counties. The Schaefer Road fire started on Tuesday and is located southeast of Chadron in Dawes County. The Custer Complex fire started on Monday and now consists of 3 active fires. The fires have been fueled by a combination of high winds, low humidity, and dry conditions. Proclamations issued by the governor authorized the state's adjutant general to activate state emergency plans and resources necessary to manage the fires, preventing possible loss of life and property.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
Welcome to another edition of Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield here on the Rural Radio Network. Of course, Cattle Call is being brought to you by Wolf Auto, small town strong. Well, we had hoped that we would have seen some bigger money this week as we looked at the market trade, but in everything in agriculture right now, there's a lot of ebb and flow, and sometimes you just got to buckle up and go along for the ride. And that's where we're at in this cattle market. As market maybe has carved out a bottom. We're going to find out what's going on. Packer kills have even ebbed and flowed as well this last couple of weeks and couple of days. We've started to see a pickup once again. So let's dive into what the factors are in the trade as Brad Koyma joins us. He is with Koyma Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. And, you know, I guess, Brad, you can't be perfect all the time. And We had hoped to see some at least steady higher numbers on the cash this week. And as of now, it's been very, very quiet. And I think that's where we kind of need to start out. Did we carve a bottom, though, in this trade?
All good questions. Thanks for having me on, first of all. And, thanks for throwing me under the bus. I appreciate that. No, I'm kidding. If anybody thought I knew what I was talking about, then I'll just keep talking. We'll remove all doubt of that, right? That I might have an idea. I don't know. I'm old enough and dumb enough to at least state an opinion on your show, and obviously people know that sometimes, once in a while, and maybe I'm right, and maybe not so much all the time, obviously. But last week, I talked about. I thought that I was kind of getting the vibe that maybe we were going to catch on the cash cattle. I totally have. I'm not abandoned that idea here yet. It's only Wednesday, and usually when you get to the later, if you can hold out till Thursday, Friday, that usually is an indication of leverage in part of the feed yard. And so I haven't abandoned the idea, at least at the north. Might not see a little bit of firmness in the cash trade. The south doesn't feel like it so far. They don't do a great job of selling cash cattle, as you know. That's how I feel anyway. There was a handful of cattle that leaked today in Kansas at 197. That'd be $1 lower. I hope that's not representative of the trade. But yeah, I thought we were seeing some signs last week, and I'm going to stick to that story. I think where you're starting to see the last 2 days a little better kill, and I think that's something that you should have on your radar. The Packers slowed this kill way down, trying to gain some leverage back, right? Trying to get a boost into the box beef, which the boxes have had a couple of pretty good days now. And I don't know exactly where their margin line is, and I don't know if they're not going to tell me if I ask them, but all of a sudden, if you're buying cattle at 198 with the box at 314 or 315, I would guess that the margins probably are starting to get pretty close to being back in the black, and then we'll see if maybe they don't start to add a little bit of kill. I know in the case of one of the Packers, they are adding a few hours this week, which I think is a good sign. So, we're higher than we were last Wednesday when you and I were talking futures wise, not exponentially, but a little over $1. And still, looking at a chart, which I apologize, I'm peeking up at my April cattle chart here while you and I are visiting. From a chart standpoint, I think there's maybe a reason to have a little bit of hope too.
So talk about that April open interest, because we're getting to that point now. What are you thinking we're going to see?
Well, like it or not, the funds are a big part of our market, Susan. And I know it's frustrating for a lot of people, me at times as well. And I become, I don't know what the right word is, a realist enough to know that I know how I feel about the funds, and they are what they are. And honestly, I'd rather be on their side as to try to think I can outsmart when they're going to do something, right? So for instance, the funds bought the hogs for 6 months, right? And everybody, well, they got to get out sometime. Yeah, right. After it went up $30, so you'd have been tired out trying to fight that story. And look at what the corn did with the funds getting along, so, but specifically to your point and question about what's happening next on the cattle thing. So, a lot of these index funds by rule have certain timing, right? Like everybody hears about the Goldman, but there's the Goldman Sachs fund, but there's many, many other funds. And basically they pick their poison a little bit as far as timing goes, but you'll start to hear about it already next week, I think, or maybe even a little bit the end of this week, where you're going to, huge open interest in the April cattle. They're going to have to move that position sometime. And so they'll start to do that probably maybe even this week into next week. And then certainly after the 5th business day of March, that's when it starts in earnest. So it'll be interesting to see how the April handles itself. There may have been some of it today. You can see that April was the weakest thing today. So with the funds needing to move some of that along April, we could see a little turbulence in the April cattle here for a little bit.
Well, we got to talk a little tariff chatter, because we know that USMCA, which is something the Trump administration helped to put together. We knew that Saturday was supposed to start these new tariffs, and we kind of talked about this morning earlier on the air, and it was like, well, are they going to push it back to April 1? And lo and behold, April 1.
Are you getting tired of this tariff story? Because I am sick of it. Yeah. But it is what it is, and it's part of the market. And you flesh that out really nice. This is 4 days ago that Trump was like, okay, yep, we're Trump where the tariffs are going to be on, like I said, and yada yada, and it certainly was impactful that day on the hog market and on the corn market. And now they've decided to back off again. I at some point, my futures market, our futures market here is going to go like, well, you know what? We're tired of blowing in the wind. Let's see what's, show us the real deal, and then we'll react after that. I do think that the speculator is starting to tire of this story, but you're absolutely right. We've postponed the opening, and the market response was bullish hogs. We don't have to worry about anything, reciprocating coming out of retaliatory stuff coming out of Mexico, because we do sell them a ton of pork. And maybe a bit supportive on the corn thing, but we didn't really do much on the corn. Actually, the continuing to postpone the tariff is actually, I'd say, a little negative cattle. We do take a lot of slaughter cattle in out of Canada every week, and so that probably might have been a little bit of the influence too, why the cattle might have been a little bit lower today.
So looking at, we kind of led into it a little bit at the open when it comes to packer movement. We saw a few pullbacks happen in the last week, but now you say that the momentum is picking up again on the kill side, but does it, and how much of these weights going to be weighing in as well on these cattle?
Well, if you're bearish and you're a cattle analyst, average weights are probably in your topic sentence. Okay, I mean, it's in the first paragraph. It's been the gorilla in the room for months and months and months. You get a little bit philosophical here, but you look at what's the function of the market or a market. Right now, what's happening here is the market's trying to figure out how to get by with less supply, less overall raw supply. So we have to create it, right? We've got less cattle, so we have to make them bigger to continue to fuel the engine for what the beef demand has been. So I'm afraid that this is going to be a bit of reality here for us cattle people for a while to come. I think that even when you talk to people buying feeder cattle, and this disturbs me a little bit, they're going to say, oh, I'm going to buy this 600-pound calf, and the only way I can make it work is if I put 1,000 pounds on it, or whatever. Take your pick, 1,050. I mean, starting to project break evens into a 16 or 1,650 pound steer. So when we get to that wall, all of a sudden where we have one too many, it's gonna accelerate that thing. Now, the thing that was weird this time, I thought, was I think in the north we're about through our yearling crop, which is about a month earlier than normal. So one would think that the north's weights would really break. Last year, of course, they broke hard from the 1st of January on. But if you remember the weather, which you do, in Nebraska, it was a nightmare. Mm-hmm. So that contributed to it. This time we've had 4 or 5 cold days, and we hardly have had winter. So that still is a big reason why the weights are what they are. But so I'm not going to be quite so caught up in the weight story, because I think you still got to buy so many cattle. And I'm going to watch when that packer starts to get some margin back. But it's early. February notoriously is a tough time to sell middles, right? To sell the high-priced beef. But we get to March and start to get warmer. We'll start to project into April and Mother's Day and yada, yada, So maybe we got to chop wood here for a couple of weeks yet. But I think that there's hope is on the way.
All right. I'll go grab that axe and be ready to go. What's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
Telephone is 712-722-0023, or check us out at kkvtrading.com.
All right, that's our conversation today with Brad Koima. Quick reminder to everybody, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss, not suitable to all investors. And that's a cattle call being brought to you by Wolf Auto, small town strong, right here on the Rural Radio Network.
At Renewal by Anderson, we ask, why should we only feel the love on Valentine's Day in February? We have declared the entire month of February as the month of love. That's right, we did it. We laugh at February's snow and cold. We love installing the best new windows and doors. We love how warm, cozy, quiet, and more valuable our awesome windows and doors make our customers' homes. Love, love, love. Tell someone you love them today, and please book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com. Feel the love every day in February with Renewal by Anderson.
The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, Banner Health Community Hospital in Torrington, Wyoming has announced successful renewal as a designated community trauma receiving facility after passing the state trauma survey with 0 deficiencies. Hospital representatives say the facility demonstrated exceptional preparedness through focused efforts on quality improvement and patient-centered care, reaffirming the hospital is more than just a Band-Aid station, but is a competent trauma facility equipped to handle emergencies efficiently and effectively. CEO Ingrid Long said the hospital has an astute staff with dedicated emergency department providers, nurses and technicians who know how to get patients stable quickly, and if necessary, transfer them to higher levels of care without delay. Last year, the emergency department recorded 4,620 patient visits. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.